how to apply techniques that you've practiced in a quiet time of your life when you head to the lion's mouth. This is an example of how a lady who always would get migraines in a certain set of circumstances uses the breathing approach to manage how she felt in those exact circumstances, and she didn't get the migraine she'd normally anticipate. If you're interested in learning how you can apply techniques that you're practicing and learning, then watch this example of how it's applied and see if you can apply it in your life too. It can be really tricky to even start practices on your own when you're attempting to overcome persistent pain. It can be even trickier to do it when you're actually in the situation where the pain triggers. But that's a skill that is built upon from practicing in the quieter times of day, whether that's breathing calmly, whether rationalising your thoughts, whether it's physically doing something you know is within a comfortable limit for your body, or whether it's a form of emotional expression. Now, this is an example of somebody who had an annual party, and lots of family and friends would come round, and you know, we've all got challenging family members, some challenging friends, you know, groups of people that you just know what you're going to get from some of them, and some of it's good, some of it's challenging, some of it's bad. But you bring a lot of people together at these parties, and this would be a trigger for this lady's migraine. Absolutely nailed on. She would get a migraine, and she could predict it. And she'd practice breathing as a mechanism of just regulating the nervous system with pain, before pain, and after pain, before, during, and after, before, during, and after, and practicing it as without any obvious stresses was stressful for her initially. She didn't like it, felt as if it would trigger anxiety. Even the thought of slowing down from a normal 100 miles an hour, 110 miles an hour was scary, and that's quite a common thing to, you know, almost how would it feel if I don't feel as I feel now? What would that be like? It's almost, I'm happier in this situation than the one that you're suggesting to me. So you have to guide someone there really quite gently at a pace that's comfortable for them. But she got really good at this. So then she applies it at the party. The party is coming, and she would make tea for everyone. She'd go in, take the orders of tea and who wants what, and come out, flip the kettle on, and she just drifted off into another room that was quiet, and she went through 2 minutes of just breathing. Now the kettle's boiling, probably everyone thinks she's out the back running around like a mad woman in the kitchen, but she just had some time for herself. She did the breathing, went back to the kitchen, sorted the teas out, delivered them all. Now that's an awareness of how you're behaving when your head's in the lion's mouth, and that's a skill that everybody can get. We can all get lost in thought and lost in motion, but don't be surprised if the pain comes at the end of all that, or if the pain is there throughout it, saying get out of this situation and stop the behaviour you're using. So practice outside the environment first of all, and then if you know you've got a situation, it could be a work meeting, it could be a party, it could be a physical activity specifically, it could be the prospect of something coming up that's challenging, that you know could potentially trigger a pain in you. Practice before. As that event starts, you know, if you're able to regulate your breath 2 or 3 times, just 2 or 3 slow breaths, and then if there's any pause, a natural pause where you break for coffee, you go for the loo, you can create a gap. In that gap, whether there are people with you or not, you can slow your breathing down because you're breathing anyway. And if you can't do the 2 minutes like this lady did on her own in a quiet space to bring the system down, just do 3 breaths. 3 breaths. So I just did 1. Now if I was listening to someone's conversation, they wouldn't really know that I've paused my breathing to a lower rate. They wouldn't know. But I'm just creating awareness of how I'm feeling in these circumstances and just bringing the system down. heart rate follows, the neurochemicals change, digestive blood flow changes, the muscle tension changes, the flushing of cortisol and adrenaline changes as soon as you start to regulate your breathing. And if you don't recognize those moments till after the event and you're in pain, then you are responsible for what's happened and yet you're not seeing it. So the awareness of triggers is a bit of a gift, because often the pain we have distracts us from looking at anything else other than where the pain is and the structures underneath it. So knowing that there's actually other cues where pain appears, knowing that we can practice skills to deal with those situations and then apply them. Well, this lady didn't get the migraine on that day. She's getting bigger gaps more consistently. There's still triggers for her and it still side swipes her occasionally, but she's getting better and better and better, and so can you.